Turn up the volume, turn up the volume. Welcome to another Mindset Breakthrough Day with Sandra Bravo in Australia. We're going to talk about journaling today. Such a crucial, important topic. And just before we start, if you don't have your ticket yet, we're just around the corner from UPW Virtual with Tony Robbins. So go ahead and get your ticket, bringthefreedom.com. And I'm going to explain you how journaling today is going to get you prepared to get even a bigger and better benefit from UPW Virtual with Tony Robbins. All right, so what's journaling? Why is journaling so important? First of all, if you don't have a journal yet, if that's not a habit that you have, I encourage you to go get your journal, get excited, choose a nice journal that you like it, that you feel inspired to write into it when you get it. If you're a lady like myself, you may like something very girly, special, colorful, I don't know, right? If you are a gentleman, you may just want a plain black or gray kind of journal. Whatever works for you, that is perfectly fine. It just, you want to make it inviting. You want to look at it and feel like, yeah, I feel like writing. And then, grab your pen, grab your journal, and let's go, go, go. Let me know your name, where you're watching from, whether you're watching this live or you're watching the replay afterwards, depending what country you're in. If you're still with restrictions or in lockdown, then go ahead and order your journal online. If you're free to go ahead and about to the shops, then go and treat yourself to the office shop or the stationery shop or whatever shop sells it in your country. I know it's always different. And choose your nice journal, because your journal is going to become your best friend. You're going to be using it every day, possibly every morning and every night. That would be my recommendation. I usually like to have the ones that have the divider, the separator, so it makes it easier to find the page that you want to go to. Now, the reason for a journal is to help you release your emotions. Why is that so crucial? Well, every time that we try to avoid or ignore or push down the emotions, they become energy blocks in your subconscious. And that energy block stops the good from coming to you, stops you from attracting, creating, manifesting, materializing your dream life. So we want to dissolve those energy blocks. We want to release them. We want to get rid of them, right? So what happens is we've never really been taught how to do it properly because, our parents didn't know how to do it, because their parents didn't know how to do it. Something just happened to my camera. So let's go onto a different camera. And let me just try and see if I can reconnect it. It happens sometimes. And our grandparents didn't know what to do, so they didn't teach our parents didn't teach us. And it's just a tradition that goes by. And luckily, we today live in a day in the world where we are becoming more aware, where we have more mindset, awareness, stillness, where we're getting to explore all those things that back in the day were too woo-woo. Back in the days, when you think about it, from our parents or grandparents, Second World War and things like that, they were just stressed for survival. They were just stressed to earn enough money to make ends meet. I was actually telling someone yesterday, I said, back in the day when I started traveling half my life ago, when I was 20, it was a big deal for someone like me in Mexico, third world country where I was born and raised, and to jump in a plane and to travel internationally to another countries. That was a big deal. That was the thing that the rich did. I'm one of 4 kids. My parents didn't have money when I was growing up, so it was a big deal. And then as the years evolved, it just became more and more affordable, and then it just became so easy that it was just common for people to travel across continents and countries and getting planes and whatever. I'm hoping it continues to be like that after we come out of lockdown, right? So that it doesn't go back to being so much harder, whatever, but we'll see what happens. But my point is, back in the day, 20, 30, 40 years ago, our parents were just concerned about survival. like having enough money to feed the family, to put food on the table, etc. So, there wasn't all this mindfulness and self-awareness like we are fortunate enough to have these days. Back in the day, we didn't talk about life coaches or success coaches or leadership or personal development and personal growth and self-awareness and confidence and self-esteem, that they just didn't have the width, the space for that. But these days it's different. And so what happens as we become aware of the damages that repressed emotions do, it is so crucial and important for you to learn how to dissolve them, release them in a healthy way. In the old days, again, they used to say, just scream or hit a pillow, do all these things. And it's like, well, that's maybe teaching you how to be angry in order to release emotion, right? And what are the main emotions that we have? Well, anger, we have sadness, we have resentment, guilt. And out of those, we have a lot others that come underneath. You might call it rage, or you might call it resentment, or whatever you want to call it. But really, they fall under the main categories of, anger and sadness and guilt and whether you call it depression, anxiety, whatever you want to call it. The thing is, we want you to learn how to release them in a healthy way. I had this coach. He called himself back then meditational coach. Okay. And that was about 10 years ago when I was living in Melbourne. He was really good. So first he got me to write and write and write. And I was like, I'm sick of writing. I don't like writing. Why is he getting me to do all this? I remember I was about to go on a holiday to Europe with my family for a few weeks. And he said, that's perfect. Bring your journal with you and just journal and write and write and write. And I especially want you to write about, your boyfriends in high school or in university, your relationships and this and that. And I was like, okay, that's weird. Why does he want me to do all that? So, but it was perfect because we were traveling for a few weeks. We when I stayed at the Atlantis in Dubai, and we went and hired a beautiful villa in Italy, and stayed in England, and when we had an amazing holiday. And so that meant I had a lot of time to write because my babies were very, very, very little. And so I would put them to bed early, and then I was having a lot of time while my former husband was hanging around with friends or family or whatever. I would sit down and just write in my journal. And then of course in the planes we of course flew all business class. So again, while the kids are sleeping in their business class seats, beds, I would be journaling and writing. And so I was fortunate that he gave me that task. I had just started to see this coach, and he gave me this task just before we went away, which was great because it means he gave me, full 3 weeks to just release all of these things. So I started writing, and it's amazing the things that would come up. I remember an instance where I felt bullied at school. I was probably in year 6, which means I was maybe 12, 13. And there was an event at a school where the parents could come, and that meant that day we could just wear normal clothes, no uniform. I used to go to a private school that was with nuns, a Catholic private school, only girls. And I was wearing this, pinky dress that I was really excited to wear. And then all of a sudden the weather kind of changed that morning, and I put some stockings or tights or leggings, however you call them in your country, with some shoes that were semi-open. They weren't open, but they weren't fully enclosed. And apparently that's a big no-no according to my friends back then. You don't do that. If you're gonna wear stockings or tights, you need to have fully enclosed shoes, right? So they ate me alive, like we say, because I was in that. And I remember just feeling devastated. Like I was so embarrassed. I felt so judged, so criticized, and I just wanted the ground to open and eat me alive. And you would think, it's such a little kid's incident, right? But it obviously left a wound in myself. It obviously left some emotion that wasn't released at the time. And I didn't realize until my coach taught me about 10 years ago, you know what? Those blocked emotions become blocks in another area of your life. So you would think that just became a block with friends or something. No, it was a block in terms of money. Or for example, when I broke up with my boyfriend in university, right? And he was my first love. I was, I think, 19. We were together for a couple of years, and we broke up. I went traveling, and I was like heartbroken because he was like my first love. And again, you would think that became a block for other intimate relationships, and it's like, no, it had to do with career, for example, career. And I was like, that's so weird. So when I learned this, I just went, oh my God, this is so powerful. And this is so important for me to let go of these little block emotions from childhood, from adolescent years, from, teenage years. And it's amazing when my coach helped me release them. Career wise, things started happening for me. That's when I left my full time job and started, doing my own business and speaking and doing the thing that I love. And money wise, like I tripled my income out of the roof and all of these things because I was removing all these emotional blocks out of my subconscious. If you imagine a knot, if you've ever lifted the drain of your shower, and you're a girl like me and you listen to her, you'll probably see, unless you're, unfortunately, I have a cleaner, a house cleaner. I've had a house cleaner for like 15, 20 years now. So I don't have to do that, but I've seen them, right? And so you open the drain of the shower, and there's all these knots of like hair, and all the yucky stuff accumulates with the hair, and it's just for. So imagine that knot of hair and all yucky stuff, that being the block of energy that sits in your subconscious, and it's taking a space. So it's taking room and that could be free up for good things to come into your life. That's why it's so important to clean it up, to dissolve it, to release it, to let it go, right? So that you can attract all the good things into your life. And so the way you do it is, first of all, it's super important that you use an actual paper and pen, okay? Doing it, typing it in on your phone, your iPad, on your computer is not the same effect. It is scientifically proven that connecting pen to paper all of a sudden connects to the neurons in your brain, and it has a complete different effect in the brain. Don't ask me why or how. I'm not a scientist, but I know even in my youngest daughter's braces school, they don't allow them to bring certain devices. So the computers have to be the Surface Pro, which have the pens, because they want them writing everything with a pen rather than typing it into the computer. So that's one of the rules, okay? Make sure that you have a physical diary or journal or book, whatever you want to call it, and an actual pen, and you're actually handwriting, okay? And then I'm going to give you a little bit of a format, so write it down, please. And if you're enjoying this, let me know in the comments, even though I don't comment back while I'm doing this, because I want to be present and focus and concentrate on you and give you my full attention. Afterwards, I always go check all the comments and individually and personally myself reply to your comments. So I want to get to know you, your name, where you're hanging from, and how is this making a difference to you, whatever day you watch of the Mindset Breakthroughs, right? I want to see a photo. I want you to post a photo on the comments below. When you have your diary, you can see mine. It says, do what you love, and a lot of it. And then it says, get up, dress up, show up, and never give up. And this has never been so important as now, because whether you're working from home due to COVID, or you're still in lockdown or whatever, it's very easy for us to get into bad habits, to get out of bed later, to not make your bed, or to, hang out in your pajamas all day, or just put a top because that's what people can see, or whatever. It's now more than ever, it's very crucial to get up, dress up, and show up. Get into, even if you're not gonna go for a workout, get into your workout clothes, so you feel more energetic and like you're moving, right? But I would suggest you put your workout clothes, go for your exercise, whether it's a run around the lake like I do, or I go to the gym, do a class, or do my own thing, or today, this morning, I went with my daughter. We play golf. Then we went to play tennis. Beach volleyball, touch, whatever you want to do. Go for a bike ride, go for a swim. But just get your body moving, because it's yes, of course, it's for your body, but it's more so for your mental health, because you release endorphins and happy hormones and happy chemicals that keep you in momentum, that keep you feeling good, and vibrating at a high frequency of energy. So get up, dress up, show up, okay? Even if you have no reason to get out of bed because it's lockdown and you can comfortably sit and work in bed. Don't get me wrong, I love working in my bed with my laptop, but I am very conscious of, getting out of bed. I'm an early riser. I'm up at 4 a.m., etc., etc. So then you're gonna grab your journal in the morning and you're gonna write it down. When I think of, and then you write the event, the situation, whatever happened. When I think of those girls in high school criticizing the way I was dressed. When I think of the moment I broke up with my boyfriend in university. When I think of I don't know, the failure that you had in your business, or the money that you lost, or the partner that ripped you off, or the infidelity in your marriage, or your divorce, or when you got unhealthy, whatever it might be. When I think of, and you write it down, could be something that happened today, earlier on, something that happened yesterday, a week ago, 10 years ago, 40 years ago. It doesn't matter. Whatever comes to mind, you write it down. When I think of, and then you write the incident of what happened, and then you write, I can feel. See how it's very different in neuro-linguistic programming. And this is one thing that Tony Robbins is the master of. There is no one in the world like Tony Robbins when it comes to neuro-linguistic programming, which he calls neuro-associative conditioning. And it's basically all the subconscious and the way we communicate, etc. I'm a master practitioner of NLP myself. It's very different to say I feel angry or I am angry. That's like you own the emotion, so it'll be so much harder to release it that if you write I can feel. When I think about, then you write the moment of what happened. I can feel. I can feel basically means I'm allowed to feel that way, but I don't have to if I don't want to, right? I don't own it. It's not a fixed state. It's just something that's passing along the way, a moving thought. You can even think of it as sitting by the river, by the ocean, and having the leaves of the trees, just moving along, and then you're just placing your thoughts or your feelings or your emotions into each leaf, and they keep moving along, and you just watch them pass, right? So very important that you use the right words. When I think of, the chat please, so that I know you're paying attention. Then you write the situation, I can feel, and then name the emotion. Whatever word comes to you, because you might write, I can feel angry, or you may write, I can feel anger. You may feel, I can feel rage, or you may feel, I can feel rage. You may feel, someone might write, I can feel resentment. Another person might write, I can feel teary or sad or sadness. See, whatever comes, you want to capture that word exactly the way it comes, because that's the raw way of your subconscious without your conscious mind filtering what you really want to express. So whatever word for the emotion, because we all name them different, like I felt peeved, I can feel peeved, or I can feel really angry, or I can feel, whatever you want to call it. So, and then you write the emotion in whatever way came up for you. Now, it might repeat because it might be a very deep rooted emotion. So you might be like, I can feel angry, and then 10 times, so you keep writing, right? I can feel angry, I can feel resentful, I can feel humiliated, I can feel upset, I can feel sad, I can feel ashamed, or I can feel shame, or and you keep going, and then it might come again the same one that you already wrote down. I can feel angry, and that's okay. Or it may come up in a different form. So you already wrote, I can feel angry, and all of a sudden it's like, I can feel anger. It's perfectly fine. We want to capture the raw vocabulary of your subconscious. So whatever comes up, that's exactly what you're capturing, what you're writing down, okay? So you write it down, and that's it. You fill up the page until there's no more to come. Now, again, if something that is deeply rooted, you may journal on it again 2 days later because it needs more releasing, right? So you write more and you keep going. The other thing is that if 2 days later it comes up again, it's because it needs more releasing. Now, at the beginning, it may be hard for you to think of moments, but it's just like any other muscle that you exercise. The more you practice, the better you become at it. And not only that, you go deeper and deeper into another layer of the emotion. So you might just be like, oh yeah, that felt this way. But then second day, you might start to feel something, a physical emotion in your body, maybe a knot in the stomach or a knot on your throat or a heavy chest or a sore shoulder or arm, because that's where the emotion is sitting, right? And then, but then after doing it every day for a week or so, you might start to get tears or trembling or an overwhelming sensation of emotion. That's good. That means you're starting to scratch the surface and go deeper and deeper, because some of those emotions have been sitting there for so many years that they're deeply ingrained. So you want to chip away at some of the layers, release more, take it out and completely dissolve that emotion, so it's no longer a problem for you, so that it no longer gets on the way, it's not a block anymore. Okay, so yes, you do it every day. Some of them, as I said, might repeat after 2 or 3 days, might go deeper, might go from 1 page to 2 pages, the tears start to come. That's a good sign. You're getting in touch with that emotion that had been neglected and pushed aside for so long, and you're like opening the lid and you're finally allowing it to come to the surface. You're allowing it to resurface, to dissolve, to get away, to dissipate into the universe. So it's no longer a block, it's no longer a problem for you. Guess what? Now you feel lighter. Now you can enjoy the joy of life. You can be happier. You're not going to be so edgy anymore. You're not going to be so angry. When you're driving and someone cuts you off and you're like, ah, you mother. It's not the person that cut you off, it's the accumulation of all the previous drivers that had cut you off in the past over the previous 10, 20, 30, 40 years, right? That's what happens with emotions, because it's not the first time in your life that you're experiencing those emotions. You experienced them many times in the past. So it's going to take a few layers and a lot of practice for you to go in deeper, to finally dissolve it, dissipate it, and release it completely. That's why you want to do it every day and every night if possible. The more you do it, the more benefit. You will see, you start to feel completely different. You start to be more in a place of enjoyment and love and compassion, instead of being often angry and edgy and getting irritable and impatient so easily. You start to see people with different eyes. You start to see the good in them instead of seeing all the bad in them. And of course, you create the space, the room for all the good things to come into your life. I'm saying this is a great preparation for UPW, because the more you do this before UPW virtual with Tony Robbins, the more that you will be open to receive, to learn, to grow, to transform your life. So I strongly encourage you to do this every single day, more so between now and UPW. But of course, this is a skill that you want to keep going for life, because every day you accumulate new emotions for little things that happen, right? And the more you allow them to accumulate, the more that they compound, and the little anger now becomes big anger, and someone looks at you and you're like, what's your problem? You get angry for no reason, for a little thing. So this is a habit that, if there is anything you're going to take from all of the mindset breakthrough sessions that we do, is this one. You want to journal every single day of your life, release emotions, so you can be light, happy, beautiful energy. You can see things with eyes of love and gratitude versus eyes of what's wrong, I'm angry, I'm scared, I'm fearful, and everyone is out to get me. That's horrible, heavy energy. I'm sure you've been there before, right? So it's so much nicer when you're like, oh, everyone is so nice around me, everyone wants everything good for me, blah, blah, blah. It's different eyes that you're looking through. And so if you start this immediately, you're going to be more ready for UPW, to have a bigger transformation with Tony Robbins. If you don't have your ticket yet, my friend, you're missing out on a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that will transform your life forever. Go to bringthefreedom.com, bringthefreedom.com, get your UPW virtual ticket with Tony Robbins. It's just a few days away, and start doing your journaling so that you can be prepared to receive more, bigger benefits at UPW virtual with Tony Robbins. This is Sandra Bravo signing off from Gold Coast. It's always a pleasure to be here with you. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, same place, same time.